Ooh, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. And we're going to revisit the Nikon Z50 and the Nikon AFS Nikkor 28 to 55 millimeter 3.5 to 4.5 GED. Any other interesting information on this? A spherical. Oh, made in Thailand. Wow. Okay. So I bought this lens in 2023 and I went to check it out, first light, and it was like 24 degrees out at the park, and I got some pretty uninspiring results with the autofocus. Because the day previously, I took the Canon T1i and the 18 to 135 nano, and I got spectacular results. So I was upset. He said, man, I bought this lens and I'm not so happy with it. But then I was snooping around, and if you go to the menu in this bad boy, they have a thing called under the toolbox. It's always a picture of a wrench. AF Fine Tune. So it says AF Fine Tune off and on is on. The save value is -5. And the list values, let's look at this. 24 to 85, which is this lens. There's a chip on this, and it tells the camera, what the parameters, what the specs of this lens is, the focal length, the aperture, and it also has a distance, tells the distance. This has full-time autofocus and manual, which is nice. So as you can see, it was at 0, and I changed it to -5. But first I changed it to -10, and I went out and I got some better results. And this is like say I got it in November. I tried it once. It was cold. I didn't like the results. I came home. I changed it. I made it to -10. It looked better. But then I just took it off and I put it in a box because I wasn't using it. I said, well, I want to use this thing. So what I did is I put it back on, and I was in my bedroom, and I just kept taking pictures of the wall, which is about 10 feet away. And I came up with -5. I said, gee, it was -10. Now it says -5. So I went to the park and I got outstanding results. Wow, it's a nice lens. I mean, at least this camera has an AF adjustment built into it. A lot of modern cameras have that now. Some earlier cameras don't, or they have a cheat sequence. When you turn the camera on, you got to hold down 2 buttons, and you can go into autofocus mode, adjustment mode. So now, after I got some good results, and I'm very pleased with it, we're going to see those results. This will be a couple of pictures of a male mallard duck, and I captured him flying into the reeds, which I happened to be there fortuitously at the right time. But what it means is, does this thing vary? Oh, it's only 40 degrees at the park, so maybe this thing has a operating temperature, and 24 degrees is outside its operating temperature. I don't know. Maybe it's temperature Pacific, or it drifts. Who knows? I mean, the next time I want to use this lens, I'm going to have to do my test on a wall. It's a wallpaper. It's got some designs on it. And then I'm going to have to take a bunch of pictures, and while I'm adjusting that autofocus values. And then I'm going to have to fine-tune it every time I use it. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But this, when it hits the autofocus, this is a nice lens. A really, really nice lens. 40 degrees out, well, as compared to 24 degrees out, I can't say. I'm going to have to use it again when it's like 80 degrees out and see what happens. It's all plastic construction except for the lens mount, which I will demonstrate. See? Look at all those electrical contacts, huh? So what we're going to do is we're going to see the pictures. I'm going to take the pictures. Well, what I did is I took some pictures. No, I just happened to be standing there. Oh, I took some pictures while he was flying in. Then I remembered to flip to the movie mode, and then I took some pictures where he finished his flight in and landed in the water. And then I stopped the movie, and I some pictures when it looks like he was getting as close as he's going to get. So all these pictures were at 85 millimeters. Now, I think I mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again. When you're in movie mode, and I put in 1080, I think it uses the whole chip, or most of the chip. But it has electronic image stabilization only in movie mode, and it works really good. I mean, it seems to work from wide angle to about 85 millimeters. Anything over 85 millimeters, it just doesn't do anything. And you could put a non-chip lens on there. Like I said, you got a dumb adapter, and you just stick it on, and it seems to work up until 75 millimeters with a non-CPU chip. So that's good to know. So it's an excellent movie camera in that respect. Yeah, I have a native Z lens, but the Z lenses are too expensive. And then say, but boomer, you buy these old lenses and they don't seem to work right. Well, I don't know what to say. I saved money so I could get another lens and play with it. Unfortunately, I bought this thing, which is the Nikon AFS Nikkor 18 to 300 millimeter, 3.5, 5.6 ED DX. This has VR built into it, I think. Was there a switch for that somewhere? Oh, yeah. So here's got a switch for it. So I don't know. This doesn't have VR in it except for movies. So this VR didn't work too good. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. So that's why this thing is just sitting here as a monument to my folly of buying. Where was this thing made? Made in China. Well, that's neither here nor there. So let's go look at the movies of these ducks. It's one movie of the duck and some pictures of the duck. And I just wanted to point it out that this lens has redeemed itself, but I always have to make an autofocus adjustment before I go on a photo shoot with it. Now I do have two of these Nikon FTZ adapters. Maybe this one works better than the other one. So I'm going to have to make a little mark on this to so I know to use it with this one. And that remains to be seen that if the other one works worse or not. I'll have to do like some side-by-sides and stuff like that. So without further doggy do, let's jump right into the slideshow and the movie. This is one of my reference standard pictures. It's a plate with a hook and a chain on it on a wooden fence. It's spring, and so some of the trees were starting to put out their blossoms, and or these pussy willows, I don't know. They had little black bugs on them, and here's a one-to-one crop of that picture, and you see there are little black bugs on it. Of course, there was a snowstorm a couple days later, and I'm sure that put the kibosh on a lot of stuff. This is the duck. This duck was flying in. It happened to be standing there, so I took a picture of him, right, flying into the creek in the reeds. Here's a one-to-one crop of that bird. It came out pretty good, I think. You know, the adjustments I made to the autofocus and the camera body, I really nailed it on this one. And then he landed in the reeds, but of course, you know, I had some foreground material. Of course, the autofocus was sort of picking the foreground material, but you could still make out that the bird is, look at his feet on the water there. It's amazing. And here it is more towards the end of the landing, whoosh. And then he started floating down closer to me. I took a half a dozen snapshots of this duck, and he was like posing for me. I was the only one there. It was Monday. I took Monday off because it was the day after Easter. And I just went to the park, and there's nobody there. It was pretty cool, except me and this duck. Two ladies walked by, and I asked them if they seen Bigfoot, and they said no, and I said I'm afraid, and they laughed at me. But you know, this duck, he was like pretty chill about it. I seen two ducks, these two mallards, but I don't know what happened to the other one. Maybe someone ate them. And there's plenty of detail. This is all at 85 millimeters, like f9 or something like that, maybe f7. ISO 200, I think, or 800, who knows? Let's see, the 800. And, you know, he just posed for me. He went around some circles. He drifted a little closer, and it was really cool. And there's a lot of fine detail there. Now this picture, I did an upscale crop, so you can see some of the detail on the wings on his back. So check it out. Then we're going to the movie of him landing and down the creek.